Hey, welcome. Day 2 in the afternoon of HECC. It's almost time for the annual meeting, but before, we have a very special guest with us today. I'll let Brad introduce himself. We're excited to have Brad with us.
Thank you. I'm Brad Haig. I'm the Director of Educational Technology with the Indiana Department of Education.
And Brad, I know we've had you on the podcast in years past, but we always love that you're willing to come back and talk to us because technology moves pretty quick, and all the great things you're doing with the state. There's always a good time to have you on here and talk to our people about what those opportunities are and how thankful we are for those opportunities. So thank you. Sing your praises anywhere I can.
All right, so cybersecurity. Big picture stuff. Cybersecurity is evolving, and it always is evolving. So, what's new or emerging threats are you seeing schools face this year, and how's Indiana adapting its strategy to stay ahead?
Yeah, it's really ironic. We had been seeing some really major attacks where basically a full-blown ransomware attack that takes down everything in the district. And this year, it's been a weird pivot back to those old days when folks enjoyed stealing individual users' email accounts and then using those to phish other people or send threats to other people and try to get them to click on things or provide information. So it's been a massive turn back to those simple techniques that only require compromising one user and then maximizing the impact of having those credentials. So it's been really interesting to see that shift. So obviously, the know-before stuff and the professional development that we've been doing for years is paying dividends because it is getting caught far more often now. If it's not the first person that gets hit, it's the subsequent people that get messages from that person. Report it. So that's positive. And then we've also been doing a lot of work behind the scenes with the Indiana Office of Technology and their Secure Operations Center. They're actually phishing the dark. They're researching the dark web to find our school domain names and key contacts at each school corporation to see if their names are out there, their credentials are being stolen, or if there's an offer to sell access to any of those school domains. And when we find those, we're letting folks know proactively before an attack occurs, which has been really remarkable.
Once they find those and they share those along, do they also help give some guidance on how to get things cleaned up?
They do. They show exactly the type of indicator of compromise to look for. They give next steps. They offer their full assistance to help remediate it. And they send it in a nice email message that has a lot of information in it. They've been carbon copying me on those email messages, just number one, so I can look cool, and number two, so I can say this message is authentic. And that's been really helpful so that people know to trust the message when they get it from them.
I could safely say that once Brad's added an email that I would trust it as well.
Yes, and it would get my attention.
Yeah, it's worked really well.
Cybersecurity funding is always very tight. What's one initiative or investment that can be made to make a big impact overall that may or may not have changed since last year?
Yeah, I mean, SLCGP, the state and local cybersecurity grant program, that was the biggest federal investment in cybersecurity at the school, state level. And that's still yielding huge benefits for us in schools in Indiana. It's paying for our No4 licenses, it's paying for our CrowdStrike licenses, and it's paying for some professional development through Udemy for some of our IT staff members. So incredibly valuable. We're working on a grant that may come out soon that helps a few model school districts that have had a cybersecurity assessment then take the next step in implementing some of those recommendations that were made during the cybersecurity audit or assessment. So coming soon, there might be a grant that lets you go to the next step after you've assessed and found out what you need.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, that'll be awesome. As one that's done the cybersecurity assessment, I would still say even if there's no grant involved, to do it. Make that first initial step. It's good to see that paper, and the plan that we were given back has really been helpful.
Excellent.
I think too, smaller districts, Indiana has a lot of small districts, limited IT staff. How are you able to help them keep up with cybersecurity best practices?
Well, I definitely use the HECC listserv probably more than anybody in the state, and probably people get sick of my messages, but that's a fantastic way to communicate. I hope all the small districts at least have one key person that follows the messages on that listserv, because so much valuable information comes out from so many people on it. It's one of Indiana's hidden gems, and it's been one of the greatest resources.
I am IT. I don't always speak that language, but I follow that listserv. I've learned a lot. But then it's also going to be like a heads up on things that, like, I don't know what that means, but we need to be ready for it.
Right.
Well, and as you said earlier, getting individual accounts stolen from key emails. I've noticed an uptick this year on the listserv of here's the subject line, here's what we saw, here's what we caught. So it may not be in your environment yet, but you can go check or get it blocked ahead of time.
Sure. I found out about a brand new resource last week, and I'm so excited about it. The governor's, the Indiana Executive Council on Cybersecurity had a big meeting Friday, and Friday the National Guard announced the Indiana National Guard is starting a Cyber Corps program. It's for volunteers who have cybersecurity skills that would like to serve and help others in a crisis. And so school IT professionals that have attained some cybersecurity certifications can volunteer to help when someone's had a cyber attack and help the recovery process. And schools, because they're critical infrastructure, can request help from the National Guard to bring that group in and help during a cybersecurity incident. So it was created in legislation several years ago. I totally missed it. And they are now getting to the point where they're really close to getting it launched. So I have a call next week with the team that's in charge of that. But what an incredible opportunity that's going to be for schools and for school ITs that want to get back.
And the support that you're going to get after an event, that's when you need it.
That's absolutely when you need it.
So if you had a magic wand, you could be, everybody's fairy godfather. What? If you could give every Indiana school one piece of cybersecurity wisdom, what would that be?
One piece of cybersecurity wisdom. Well, I might need to have that imperious power so I can actually influence people. But I would want the school IT team to be able to count on the school leadership team to be part of the discussion. I would want it to be a broad-based group that has everybody that's needed to respond to an attack. So I would want them all to be participating in the planning process so before an attack occurs, so that when an attack occurs, everybody knows what their role is and everybody knows how to support each other to get through it. Nobody likes going through an attack. It's embarrassing. People are throwing daggers at the school corporation. People want to know when essential services are going to be reopened. It takes a team to come together in those moments and to support each other and to know what their role is. So we last year created 2 templates. We created an incident response plan, and then we created a cybersecurity planning document. Those 2 documents are on our website and they're completely free to use. So my wish would be that every school would come together with everybody that's involved and create those documents for the district.
Sounds like a great breakout room. We're going to lock everybody in the boardroom, and so this is
did I mention that we're having that breakout room at this conference right now as we speak? Shatrice is right upstairs in that room right now. She's going through each one of the plans, and then the third hour is a session where they can just work on them together.
That's awesome. Fantastic. There's so many things that time is really an elephant in the room that keeps those key conversations from happening. So to allow people to get together, all this leadership, I think AI policies is another one where I was doing an event last week. I thought, I need those people to have a seat at the table, but they don't have time. So that's great. I love that.
So let's talk about what's already happened. So what's one of the success stories in Indiana that has really made a difference in our cybersecurity awareness or our readiness?
I really think it's the partnership that we have with all the agencies and just the way that we're sharing information and working together. We have a long ways we can definitely go, but I feel like it's a full court press to serve schools. And the big win is those relationships that we had built ahead of time. When that state and local cybersecurity grant money came out, schools were welcome to the table. And in so many other states, they were told they weren't allowed at the table because they were more worried about the local governments, the cities, the counties, the townships, and they wanted to make sure that those organizations had their preparedness raised. But in Indiana, schools were an equal partner, and we may have actually gotten more of the money just because people were so aware of it.
So let's kind of switch gears for a second. You've been around HECC for a long time.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you were one of the first people I met when I got to be on the board the first time around. I know you were the one that was the person doing all the nominations and organizing that. So you were my first introduction to HECC.
Did the words #old just flash up on the screen?
OG.
Okay, all right.
What is your favorite piece of HECC history or trivia that always makes you smile?
Well, I believe that Indiana is great because we have 3 organizations that really cater to improving technology adoption in education. The CTO Council, the Coastal Affiliate, focuses on the key leader in each IT department. The Indiana Connected Educators used to be Indiana Computer Educators back in the day. They were the first big one, and they focused on instructional technology and the great usages there. And then we got HECC that brings everyone together. This was mainly focused to be the organization catering the IT staff that couldn't get the expensive training they need and providing, what they needed to be effective at a cost-effective way. HECC has become the biggest group in the state now. But my favorite story is it was so sad for ICE when they had their big ICE forum and they started to fade as an association because they were so struggling to maintain their identity. At the same time, HECC was just a special interest group of ICE, so we actually used their tax ID. And so when I was president in 2012 of HECC, we created a 10-point plan of how we could work together with ICE. And it was like, we want to be an equal member in the community with you, and here are 10 ways that we would work together if that happened. And we didn't always work together the best in the past. And for a few years after that, they agreed to it, first of all, and they spun us off and let us be our own organization. And that has created so much stability for HECC, and it has made us so powerful and strong. All credit to ICE for being so mature and being willing to do that. And then we worked so well together for a few years there and really did some great work collaboratively together. But those times were just an incredible time. People were willing to step out of their comfort zones and keep providing for the people of Indiana. And the greatest memory I have in the world is the day that Dean Tipp and I, who was the treasurer of HECC at the time, we walked over to the Chase building from the HECC conference, and then we transferred all the money from the ICE accounts into the HECC accounts, and then formally stood us up as our own 501c3 organization. And we haven't looked back since, and it's been great for the state of Indiana.
Think of the countless hours of training that have happened since then. I have to take all the sessions and add them together. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Such a collaborative group of people too.
Oh man!
I tell people all the time, it's the most special group I've ever been privileged to be around.
Yeah.
And it leads to a lot of connections that are year-round. It's not just at the conference. I know there's people that I've met at the conference or met from being here that I call on a fairly regular basis. And Google Chat made that even worse. I have to write it by keyword, right?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Okay, moving kind of back into that cybersecurity realm. If we think about the Indiana DOE and the IoT cybersecurity teams have received some national recognition, for their work? What do you think truly sets your approach? You can answer that question. I feel like we kind of touched on this a little bit, but what truly set our approach apart to earn those honors?
I think what Governor Holcomb recognized us for was the fact that we actually went out into the state as a cross-agency team and went to every county in the state and had those conversations about things that people needed to know. And then, hey, by the way, have you thought as a school about working with your county and city officials? What services could you share? How could you work together? And that was kind of transformational at the time. Like, nobody was really talking about working together. And just from getting to work with cities and counties, you learn that they've, over the years, built silos to protect themselves. Like, they have separate budgets, separate systems. So to get them to start talking about collaboration is a powerful thing. And then for schools to be at the table is just an incredible blessing. We're already having those discussions with school safety. So it's like bringing a lot of the same people to the table that talk about cybersecurity and this one.
Love that. You know, that's cybersecurity, the IoT. Indiana is special in those connections they've helped yours make, and then taking these groups and linking them together. When I go to conferences around the country, that doesn't happen in other states, and they're envious of what we have here. And I think that really says a lot about Indiana.
It's a very special place. I was just going to say, we stand on the shoulders of Kansas and we stand on the shoulders of these other early adopters that really built that. You know, we've been talking about people that were instrumental in the foundation of HECC, and BJI was the forerunner even to Kansas. BJI created the Learning with Leadership Training for Technology Coordinators in 1997, 1998. LTTC, and she was bringing technology directors down to the IU campus and teaching them how to be collaborative and how to use technology to improve instruction. It just goes so far back.
With all those connections, all those pieces snapping together, how do you see cybersecurity and education evolving over the next several years?
I'm really excited because I think that all of our new cybersecurity pathways from the CTE programs, I think all the students starting to pursue cybersecurity while they're in high school as a potential career, using the career savings accounts to pursue maybe IT certifications and cybersecurity. All of that's going to come together in a perfect storm, and we're going to get kids that are fully trained up and ready to serve. And whether it's through internships in schools, internships in businesses, they're going to come out ready to work in the private sector. And I think we're going to have a lot more resources and support than we have currently.
That's great skills for our students to be learning.
And I think you can feel it being around our high school that students are starting to really embrace some cybersecurity hygiene.
Yeah, the Governor's Executive Council on Cybersecurity actually just went to an esports event to advertise how they could be pursuing careers in cybersecurity. And the response was huge. The kids were like, I can get paid for this? Yes, you can. And you can get paid a lot. And so they're excited. Like, they're already building those connections. There's a consortium of colleges that are now putting together programs and are really close to getting some state money to support that internship program and finding industry partners that will take college and high school students into their businesses as part of the training process. And Henderson is leading that collaborative. So small college doing some really great work.
So earlier you kind of talked about getting all the key players in the room, hashing it out. What's your go-to strategy in helping teachers understand why cybersecurity isn't just IT, that it is the whole school's responsibility?
Yeah, nobody likes multi-factor authentication or doing extra processes. Most certainly the first grade teacher that I was with, she is not a fan, and I get it. But it's showing them that by doing those things, we can increase the availability of those tools that they rely on, and making sure that they always have access to those critical infrastructures that they're relying on a daily basis. So knowing the why is always the key to so many things. Definitely in cybersecurity, knowing the why is the key path to understanding.
Information, Brad. It's always good to chat. As we get ready to kind of wrap it up, I mean, let's kind of go in. We have a little rapid fire and just a thought process for you. So, what's your best resource for cybersecurity training for students?
For students? No, just cyber. I think everything in Nova 4 is great.
Top tip on a strong password management or MFA adoption?
Well, at the state we use Microsoft, and it's there for a lot of districts. So I would say Microsoft.
What's one red flag the school district might have a hidden security risk?
Increased traffic, decreased access to resources.
One cyber movie or TV show that actually gets it right.
Or maybe close.
Well, yeah, here, or maybe war games.
The Whopper's alive. Better get tic-tac-toe out.
Shall we play a game?
All right. So who's somebody you admire in EdTech or cybersecurity, and why?
When I first started at the DOE, Tad Stahl was the first partner I reached out to in another agency, and he immediately embraced me. And he's a former state CISO for the state of Indiana. He's still working at IoT. He's an incredible partner and a fantastic guy, and has become an amazing friend.
And of course, who's your favorite tech board member this year?
Wow. Well, it's probably the two sitting in front of me because they have the full power of what to ask me next. So they're definitely my favorite.
I'm on the board this year. I'm on the ballot.
You'll always be on the board as far as I'm concerned.
On the ballot, that's a vote for. Well, we come shortly.
Hey, with that note, though, I do appreciate you asking me to come back and be a part of the podcast because I love to talk. I love to do things like this, and that's pretty special. So I appreciate that opportunity.
I'll tell you what, the favorite board member that's no longer with us is Carrie on back. I always appreciated how much love she showed other board members. We definitely miss her presence. And we give an award in her name every year. And she was one of the best. I enjoyed a steak and shake in her honor. Last night, it was the first thing I did when I got to town.
That's awesome. Definitely a great person. Brad, I can't thank you enough for coming on with us and always answering questions and always answering my emails when I need help too, not just on a podcast. So,
an absolute honor. Thanks so much for all you guys do.
Well, we are excited. It's almost annual meeting time for in the ISD. Come and see the meeting, the awards, and do some more networking and get ready for day 3.
And we have one more podcast coming up tomorrow morning. Make sure you tune in at 9 a.m. Until then, let's have a great day. See ya.